AI has invaded every aspect of all of our lives. Everybody walking around out there has the ChatGPT or the Grok app that they're depending on multiple times a day to help do their thinking for them. As a family law attorney in Florida, I've even been concerned lately that I'm going to be replaced someday by artificial intelligence. But the question that I have asked myself is AI advanced to a point where it could take over and actually be an attorney for someone in a family law case? This is something that I actually really struggled with, right? I've been doing this for 15 years. I went to law school. I've got law school student loans. If AI can suddenly replace me, what does that mean for me and my family? I recently had several cases where I had self-represented opposing parties who were clearly using ChatGPT as their attorney. And the result of that process made me feel a lot better because AI is just not to a point where it should ever be your attorney or ever be a substitute for attorney. I'm going to give you 3 things that I observed from these cases that are evidence that AI is not ready to take over and replace attorneys. Obviously, as in every video, this is not legal advice. I could never in a video be advising you on your specific situation. This is just informational purposes only. I'm an attorney. I'm licensed in the state of Florida. This is all based on my Florida experience. But the reality is, guys, if you have a family law case, you need to be talking to an attorney in your jurisdiction. All right. So 3 big things that I've seen self-represented opposing parties doing in their cases that they're blatantly using AI for. All right. The first one is they're using ChatGPT or other AI apps to write their motions, right? Their petitions, their demands, the stuff that they're filing with the court. And the problem is they're not even reformatting it. Like it's the same block and line and block like format that ChatGPT spits out. They're just like ripping it right out of chat and filing it with the court. And yeah, it actually, most of them sound more intelligent and way more put together than what we would normally see someone who's representing themselves like file. But the problem is there are things that I can legally ask for in a motion that the judge is going to say, look, we're not ready to deal with that, or I'm not willing to do that. That's premature. There are so many different nooks and crannies of information that ChatGPT will throw into a motion or just completely tell you that you need a motion regarding that the judge just isn't even going to give a millisecond of thought to or consideration. I had this recently in a case where an opposing party, this case went all the way to trial, opposing party was just blatantly just like rapid, like money gun at the strip club, like rapidly shooting, like firing off these ChatGPT drafted motions in this case. And the judge just shut them all down, every single one. None of them got granted. They all got called up for a hearing. And it ended up with the other party just looking like they were just trying to be petty, like they were trying to obstruct the process. It really pissed the judge off. The judge felt like their time was being wasted. And that's never a situation that you want to have. That's not a position that you want to be in if you're representing yourself in a case. Now, the second thing is having AI or ChatGPT kind of be your guiding force, like your guidance through the case, like giving you your, coming up with your game plan and your strategy and being your guidance, right? Because the problem is, like in most family law cases, you've got your issue that you need to stay laser focused on, and you need to help the judge stay focused on that issue. And the other side is going to bring a bunch of noise, right? Oh, a letter about contributing toward medical costs, or a motion because you dropped the child off like 5 minutes late, or just all kinds of noise, right? Oh, he was an hour late letting me talk to the kid during his time sharing, and I'm going to have my lawyer send this letter to his lawyer. And right, this is all noise. None of it makes any difference in the ultimate goal that you have for the case, right? But it's stuff that can distract your attention, right? ChatGPT is not going to help you avoid the noise, right? A good lawyer is going to only give this much attention to the noise, just enough to address it, but is not going to allow their whole focus to be diverted in that direction. But the problem is a lot of attorneys do, because they can charge a ton of money going off on these little rabbit trails dealing with all this noise. But it doesn't get you any closer to where you need to be. ChatGPT is going to have you like addressing the noise as if it's your main issue in the case. It's not, does not have the advanced, it's not advanced enough, doesn't have the wisdom to keep you focused. and for you to keep the judge focused, right, on where you need to be. That's a problem that I see over and over in these cases where the opposing parties are blatantly using ChatGPT as their attorney. Now, the third and final one, and this is probably the biggest one, is I did have one of these cases go to trial recently. And again, blatantly apparent that this opposing party was using ChatGPT as their absolute attorney. They were just feeding stuff in the chat, not even thinking about it, just filing stuff and just doing exactly what chat told them. Their case fell apart. Like their case fell apart before it even stood up. It was just never there. And that's a problem because they showed up to trial and, on cross-examination, that's where like I put up a witness, I give a direct examination of them. And then the other party cross-examines my witness after I do a direct examination of them. Like the cross-examination is supposed to poke holes in my client's story, make them look like they're hiding the truth, that kind of stuff. On cross-examination, this opposing party started asking some really intelligent sounding questions. And I was like, oh shit, really? I knew they were using ChatGPT from the motions that they were filing. And I was curious how they do at trial. And they were asking some really intelligent sounding questions on cross-examination. The only problem is a good lawyer on cross-examination is going to ask a good question, and that opens the door. Then they walk through the door, like they ask more questions, they develop the issue further. And then that is how you really like dismantle that witness's credibility or the story that they're telling, right? So this person's ChatGPT cross-examination would ask that first question, right, really intelligently and would open the door, but they would not develop it any further. It just kind of closed the door and then moved on down the hall to the next door, right, to the next issue. So the cross-examination did not develop anything. It didn't help this person at all. Direct examination, like all of their cross-examinations were the same way. Direct examination, it was like non-existent. Their ChatGPT direct examination, there were a couple like foundational questions that developed a little bit of historical background, but nothing that meaningfully addressed any of the legal issues. And so it was all just a waste of time. And the problem is with ChatGPT, with AI, I mean, they can be used as like inspiration. You can say, hey, I've got this particular issue in the family court. What are some ideas on what I might want to think about doing? And then like reading that list and getting ideas on what to do. But chat is not in a position to be your guidance and do it all for you. It's just not there. And honestly, I don't think it'll ever be, especially in family law. You've got really complicated procedures, really complicated laws. You've got highly emotional opposing party. You've got their attorney who's probably acting crazy, just trying to bill a bunch of money. You've got you who's emotional too, because it's family law. It's like you're dealing with your family, your money, your kids, right? It's highly emotional. So ChatGPT AI is not going to really be able to balance all those things together, and especially to keep you focused in the direction that you need to be in to have any success. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, if this added some value to your situation, like it, heart it, subscribe, follow this channel. That really helps me out. I'm going to be developing some different course offerings. When those are available, there'll be links in the description, links in bios. So definitely check that out. Again, nothing here is legal advice. This is for informational purposes only. AI is never going to be a substitute for having an attorney who knows what they're doing in your jurisdiction advising you. Neither is this video, right? I'm just some guy shooting a video, talking about shit that I've been through. You need an attorney in your jurisdiction who knows your specific set of circumstances and can advise you, right? Maybe you can't afford an attorney. Maybe an attorney will come in on a consultant, like an hourly basis, to guide you through. Sometimes they do that. But AI, videos online, even our course offerings, they're not ever going to substitute legal advice. They're not going to ever be meant to advise you on your specific situation. It's just going to kind of inspiration, right? It's information to educate you on what the process is, what the system looks like, and maybe give you some ideas, some inspiration on directions you may want to go in, right? But nothing is going to substitute an attorney. I'm going to make a video soon on, if you can't afford an attorney, like how to get advice from an attorney. I think that's like critically important for a lot of people. All right, guys, if there are other video topics that you want to hear about, let me know in the comments. I will see you guys in the next one.